What's up YouTube? It's Coach Cory, and today we are starting a brand new series on the channel that I'm hoping to do maybe like once a month, maybe a little bit less than that, we'll see, called Real Talk with Coach Cory, where the goal of this whole series is for you all to get to know me, my life, being a YouTuber, the struggles of it, the joys of it, and in general, just my goal with this is I want to connect with you all more because I feel like that's something I'm really bad at. I don't necessarily like sharing a lot of details of my personal life or even myself. I kind of struggle with that. I tend to have to force myself to do that, remind myself that, you know, it's a part of the job. I really should be, in order to build a better connection with you all, I really need to be sharing about myself. If you don't know who I am, you don't know what I'm about, you know, why would you care? I'm not expecting this to really get many views. I don't expect everyone will care. And you know what? That's okay. I just want you all to get to know me better, and hopefully I can get to know you all better in turn as well. All right, so actually I feel like I'm honestly more nervous recording this video than I am for like any of the other videos I do, because this to me is kind of unfamiliar territory. I don't know exactly where I'm going, what I'm doing. I don't plan on editing this much. I'm not gonna put up gameplay. Maybe I'll put up some background music. But really, this is gonna be pretty basic, bare bones. What I'm gonna do probably is start off with a topic or two that I want to talk about, whether it's about me or YouTube in general, being a YouTuber, and then we'll go through some Q&A. I asked you guys in community posts some questions you want to ask me that are mostly not yes or no, so we can get some more in-depth discussion. And I also want to highlight the winners of the art contest that I held. Some amazing fan art. We'll do that at the end. And also some I want to show that weren't winners as well. All right, so the first topic that I really want to talk about is not something I feel like that generally is talked about much or many people know about, and that's the hardest parts of being a YouTuber. And also, I just want to say, I don't want to be a negative Nancy in any way. I don't want to try to bring this down. I don't want this to be negative. There are a lot of joys about being a YouTuber, you know, like making your own schedule, covering something that you love. But right now, I feel like those are more obvious and known, and that's sort of why I want to talk about the negative parts. And maybe in another series or another video, if you want, we can talk about the joys too. So first off, of course, there's a lot of hard things, just like with any job, but being a YouTuber for me, there are two things that are way more difficult to deal with than pretty much anything else. And maybe this is more personal experience, but that's how I feel. One of them is the constant grind that YouTube is, how it never ever stops. It's a job where if you take a day off, everyone wonders, you know, what's wrong with you? You know, what's going on? Is something happening? You know, why didn't you upload today? Are you okay? But the reality is, you know, you need breaks. And on top of that, another really big problem I have with YouTube, and especially as far as my long-term health, is it makes it very difficult to go on vacation. And not only that, to enjoy vacations. You know, I've had plenty of vacations where I go on them, but I'm like working on and off on them in order to make sure my videos are getting uploaded. And I'm still doing something, even if it's not as much, even if it's lower quality content, I'm still trying to do something every time I'm on vacation. I think maybe I've had one or two vacations, short ones, throughout, you know, the whole 3 years of me being a YouTuber, where I literally did nothing YouTube related. And one of those times was because, you know, I was in a place where there was literally no Wi-Fi, so I had no choice. And that's actually part of the reason I went. To me, it's really hard to enjoy vacations as a YouTuber, because it feels like to even go on them in the first place, you have to take off, you have to do literally twice as much work beforehand in order to even make it possible to go on. Because if you're not uploading as much, your channel suffers, your revenue suffers, and then it also feels like one important part about YouTube, in my opinion, is momentum matters a lot. And what I mean by momentum matters is that in general, if your channel is doing very poor compared to usual, I guess, even if you have this one video that always has the same quality, it's going to do a lot worse than if your channel overall was doing really well. Let's say you were getting, for example, this is something that I can relate to. Sometimes, some months I get around 3 million views. I might have a meme review or something that will get, you know, 100,000 views. And let's say my channel in general is doing, you know, 5 million views a month. and this is as a whole, that same video, which might be the exact same quality as it was before, will now be getting a lot more views. So when you have that momentum of your channel overall doing better, it feels like you get more recommendations. In general, every video you do, whether the quality is higher or not, will get more views. So that's where taking that time off, taking that vacation can be really hard to do. And just expanding on what the constant grind is, for me, it also feels like you need to be constantly improving, constantly thinking of new ideas to keep your content fresh, new ways to improve, because it feels like if you're not doing that, the other people in your industry are, and you're gonna get left behind. And you know, people are gonna leave your channel, go to theirs, and they're also gonna see their stuff and wonder why you're not doing it as well, why you're not improving. You know, I can probably keep on expanding on this, the constant grind stuff, but I'll go on to the next part, which to me is dealing with the negative criticism. And of course, you know, this is just a part of being a public figure. Everyone is entitled to their own opinion, and you know, they're going to, you know, say what they want. It's also the internet too. People don't really care a lot of times about your feelings when they say things, and you know, maybe they're just being straightforward or honest, but that's just how it is. And on the flip side of the coin, you know, here I am, I do these, you know, meme reviews things, and sometimes, you know, I might hurt some people's feelings being honest, but I also think at the same time, if I'm not honest about, you know, how I think of something, I think I'll lose, you know, the viewer's respect, I'll lose your respect. I can't sugarcoat everything. I can't 100% always be nice. I think if you do have to be real. If you're not real, people don't respect it. But I mean, it's one thing if it's, you know, constructive criticism, and it's another where if, you know, someone's just being a hater and they really just don't like you. But the reason or the way it really gets to me sometimes is when it's unreasonable, or it's just straight up wrong, or maybe they just don't know me, or maybe, you know, they saw one example and they thought, okay, that's what this guy does every single time, and you know, they don't bother to look any further than just, you know, that cover of the book, so to speak. And to me, this really comes across a lot on Reddit. I feel like more than YouTube comments. You know, YouTube for me, the most part, a ton of the comments are overwhelmingly positive and are really, you know, heartwarming to look at, and can oftentimes, you know, bring me up when I'm down. But on Reddit, it's totally different, because it's not just like it's my community. You know, on my YouTube channel, that's my community, but like on the Brawl Stars Reddit or on the competitive subreddit, that's not the case at all. You know, these are people from totally different backgrounds, a lot of different communities coming together in one place. And honestly, I get a lot of anxiety looking at the comments on a lot of different Reddit posts where I'm mentioned. If I see my name, a lot of times, you know, I hesitate to open the comments, because, you know, you scroll down and oftentimes you do find people, you know, talking about like, why do you even watch this guy? I can't believe you guys still watch him. It's funny to me too, the amount of times I'll see these posts where people go, man, he never does gameplay videos. I've never once seen him do a gameplay video. And it's like, okay, you clearly didn't look very hard. I know I don't do gameplay videos very much, and it's not because I don't want to. And I think this is actually some of the questions you guys asked. Why don't I do more gameplay videos? The reality is I like doing them, but they're a dime a dozen. Everyone does them, and they don't do well on my channel. I think because of that, it's very hard to have them be that unique. And also too, everyone plays the game, so they see someone else play the game. It's not necessarily as new and interesting in a lot of cases. And just to sort of like expand on my anxiety, I guess, with looking at Reddit comments, right now, I actually don't feel like it's as bad as it used to be for me as far as how much negative feedback I would get on Reddit. I do think like maybe half a year ago or even more, probably when I was doing more tier lists, there would be more negative criticism, just to be blunt. And I think part of it is because people see me, oh, this meme guy, there's no possible way this guy who covers memes, you know, can understand the game, right? Funny content can't equal strategy content. And this is sort of what's happened to my channel too, where a lot of you wonder, what happened? Why are you called Coach Cory when you don't really cover strategy stuff? Well, if you look back, I did start out covering strategy stuff, and that's what I actually, one of the things I really enjoy covering. I love in-depth strategy. You know, I like strategy games a ton, and that's why I started in that direction. But I also found, as far as success on YouTube, what worked for me more was the more reaction stuff, the more funny stuff, and the strategy videos tended to be more work for even less views, which was a hard thing to deal with. All right, let's get into some Q&A now. I think that's enough rambling for now, I guess. Let me know if there's any other like super in-depth topics you want me to cover. But sure, going to the Q&A. So starting off with Dr. Dejobi. Sorry if I said that wrong. Have you ever been interested in dedicating myself to other games other than Brawl Stars? If so, what games? This is a great question. One thing I don't like about YouTube is that I can't really cover other games and have them be successful on my channel. It makes sense. I get it. You know, if you subscribe to a channel, you're looking for a particular type of content. Usually it's only going to be one game, right? Unless it's a channel dedicated to like reviewing games or covering a ton of them at once, and that's the reason you subscribe. Usually you're just looking for one specific thing, so it's hard to cover multiple. But some games I've really enjoyed playing that I would have liked to have made content about. One of them is Teamfight Tactics, an auto chess game. I played it a ton through 2 different periods, through set 1 and set 3. Both of them I was like top 500 NA, so I played it a lot. And the leaderboard there I felt like was actually a lot better than in Brawl Stars, a lot more skill oriented, not just time oriented. So I enjoyed that game a ton. I actually ended up streaming it a little bit. But that's one game I would have liked to cover. Another game I'm playing a lot right now, although I'm not sure if I would like making content for it, is Genshin Impact. I'm enjoying it a ton. I've definitely spent some money on the game. I enjoy playing it a lot. I play it every day right now. We'll see how long it goes, but for now I'm enjoying it. Although I do think it would be a harder game to make content on, but I do enjoy the game a lot. All right, so here's an interesting question by Milkman. How long do I think my YouTube career is going to last? And do I have some kind of backup if YouTube doesn't work out later on? Okay, so the reality is I have zero idea for how long I think YouTube is going to last, but I do think my future bodes well, at least for the moment. And I say that because I think the Brawl Stars developers are very good. I think they're extremely talented, and I think they deliver good quality content. And I think they're going to continue doing that for a long time, unless for some unforeseen reason, some of the members of that team end up leaving, which I think is what happened to the Clash Royale dev team, and is one reason why their content hasn't been as good as it used to be, in my opinion, although I've left that game a long time ago. So hopefully I will continue to cover Brawl Stars for as long as it is popular and successful. If and when the game dies, I will try to move to another game that is popular at the time and that I enjoy. Obviously, I have no idea to predict what or when that will be. If YouTube does completely die, what other career would I go into? I have no idea. And honestly, I've thought about this and I've never really come up with a great answer. Partially, honestly, I don't know, because you would always think, well, maybe I could use my experience in this to gain another job that's related, like maybe something in video production might be interesting. Maybe I could go into something like helping with filming or producing ads. I think that would be interesting, but really it's hard to say, and I try not to think about it too much because I want to keep doing what I'm doing. All right, here's a question from Mr. Bat Bushcamp. How did I tell my girlfriend that this is going to be my career? And how did she react? I'll even expand this to my parents as well, because it was a little bit different, a little bit similar. But overall, I mean, I'm definitely very lucky to have a supporting family and a supporting girlfriend. But at the start of it, my girlfriend was definitely pretty skeptical because, you know, Brawl Stars, well, the big reason for skepticism on me doing YouTube as a career back when I really started to try to do this was during the beta launch of Brawl Stars. And the problem was I was dedicating a lot of time into being a YouTuber, but no one knew if Brawl Stars was going to even launch globally. You know, at the time I had been, let's go back to a year before Brawl Stars went global in January, right after Lex and I had done Brawl Talk, and the game switched from vertical to horizontal. And that was a huge moment, and honestly, that was arguably the biggest low point that Brawl Stars had ever been in. And there was real concern and real reason that the game would be canceled. But at that point, I had already been making YouTube videos in Brawl Stars for about a year and a half. And I had been doing videos I don't exactly remember. I think it was like 3 to 5 times a week. So a good amount. I was investing a lot of time into that, and I wasn't making much money at all. You know, it was beta launch, so there weren't a lot of views, weren't a lot of people playing the game. And at that moment in time, a lot of people in my family and my girlfriend were skeptical. You know, they believed in me, but they just weren't sure that the game was going to work out. So it definitely took a lot of convincing, you know, to get them to go, look, I believe, you know, Supercell's a good company. It's gonna work out. I hope. I think. Maybe. I swear. And you know what? A couple months later, it did start to improve. People started to, you know, get over that huge shock of going from vertical to horizontal. And they go, oh, wow, look, this is so much better now. But basically, once it was confirmed that the game was going global, you know, my parents, my family, and my girlfriend were all, you know, very receptive, and you know, they thought there was a real possibility that I could do it. Especially, you know, one reason I was able to convince them was, you know, I was like, look at these other guys who are doing it in Clash Royale. You know, they're making a career out of it. You know, I can do that too. Maybe I won't be as successful, but you know, it could be enough to make a career. And you know what? That's I was able to make it happen again. All right, so here's a question from Jake Free. Why did I stop streaming, and will I ever start again? Great question, Jake. Jake would stop by a lot of my streams when I did stream. So why did I stop streaming? So personally, the biggest reason for me was it took up a lot of time, and I wasn't able to make much, you know, return on investment, so to speak. It's a decent way to connect with your audience, I feel like, but in reality, I think there are better ways, like this type of video. I think is probably a better way than streaming, because a lot more people will see it. Oftentimes when I would stream, you know, on a good day, on D-Live, on a good day, it would be like 50 to 100 viewers. If I was on Twitch, maybe it'd be 100 to 200 or something like that. Just the amount of people I would reach through streaming was not very high, so it was hard to make it a priority compared to YouTube, and I wasn't really making any revenue from it. Will I ever stream again? I'm definitely open to it. It would probably take some sort of deal with a streaming company where, you know, they're paying me to do it, because otherwise I would personally rather invest my effort into YouTube and try harder there, try to be more successful there. All right, here's a question from I'm Fan. Can you make an alt channel called Chef Cory, since you post pictures of yourself cooking a lot? If you guys don't know what he's talking about, check out my stories on YouTube. I've been trying to post some more on there. The majority of them are pictures of me cooking food. Because I don't really take selfies, and I don't feel like I have that many interesting things to like take pictures of. Like, I don't really go outside, you know, there's a virus going around, and in general, there's not a lot of things to take pictures of, I guess. So, one hobby I have that I do a lot is I cook. I enjoy cooking a lot. I think it's really fun. I think it's, you get a lot of satisfaction from making a meal and then, you know, enjoying it. I feel like you kind of enjoy it more when you make it yourself. You know, I'm not a sadist. I don't try to make it a difficult meal to make necessarily. I'm not going crazy hard. I'm no pro or anything like that. I'm pretty bare bones, but I do enjoy cooking a lot. I cook most meals for my girlfriend and I. She does a lot of the prep and cleanup. I'll do a majority of the cooking, but you know, we're a team about it, so we help each other out. But as far as this question, I don't think I would probably make another channel, but if you guys want me to post more pictures of like the process of me cooking, just let me know, and I'd be happy to put more in my story. Or maybe even I can put some on my Instagram or something like that, which I know I don't post to, but I could. Art Estros, tell us about a time where you were the most angry because of Brawl Stars. So I'm not sure one time comes to mind. I mean, I guess if there was one time, it would probably be during, I think it was week 3 of the Race to Gem Mountain Challenge, where, you know, I forget what challenge I was doing, like the pirate one or something, where I don't remember if I was playing on one finger or whatever it was. I had some sort of handicap, and in that match, one of my teammates, I believe, was lagging, so he wasn't really very helpful, and the other one immediately saw that he was lagging, and maybe he saw I was being weird too. I'm not sure. That's very possible. And he decided to give up, and he basically got out of the way, let them score, and then he tried to own goal after that. And if you remember the video, I was pretty upset. Other than that, I tend to actually get pretty angry off screen, playing with randoms. Of course, I don't act that way on screen for good reason, but I'm sure we all try to vent our frustrations towards random teammates. Sometimes my girlfriend does hear me screaming a lot. She'll come and ask me how I'm doing sometimes. But in general, it doesn't get too bad, but I definitely get upset playing with randoms sometimes. So here's a question. I apologize if I say your name wrong. Sudhir Sharma. I probably said it wrong, sorry. Question, why don't you try to become a professional Brawl Stars player? I saw your gameplay. You can be pro. Well, first off, thank you for even saying that. I know that I'm not nearly skilled enough at the moment. The reason I wanted to answer this question is actually because in Clash Royale, I was a professional Clash Royale player for about a year and a half. I was contracted playing at the top of the game. I do think I was one of the better players in the game at the time. Something like top 50. I don't want to be too crazy. Maybe at my very best, I was like top 25 for a couple months. But probably more typically top 50, something like that, even less, who knows. But because of that, I'm a very competitive person. And so when Brawl Stars first started, I went really hard. And I was in the top 200 leaderboard. Admitted, it was during beta launch, right? Not as many players, but some of the ones that were very dedicated. I was in the top 200 leaderboard for about a year and a half, I think, straight during beta. And I really tried hard to be competitive, and I would compete in some things, but what I found that I really didn't like is trying to be a competitive player and being a YouTuber, because one, I think it's very difficult to do both well. I think it's hard to be entertaining and be highly skilled and professional. There are channels that are strictly highly skilled and I think kind of somewhat entertaining, but it's very hard to be very entertaining and very skilled. And I wanted to lean more towards being the entertaining type. Also, to be honest, I just kind of found myself being like self-conscious, where being a public figure and then competing in tournaments, I felt like if I lost, there was just so much more pressure on me to perform well because I was a public figure. And I think that sort of got to me a little bit. And it made me want to not enter in different tournaments and stuff, kind of for fear of failure, honestly. I think was one part of it. So while there were a lot of times where I would still try to be as good of a player as I can be, because I'm just a very competitive person, I would often not want to compete in anything. And that's still true to this day, although I don't take it nearly as seriously as I used to. All right, now let's go over the art contest winners and some other people that didn't win, but I also thought had really quality submissions. And of course, I only have time to go over so many. Thank you to everyone for competing. First off, the first place winner by RXJ1131 here, an 8-bit poster I thought was amazing. This was so well done. I'm so excited to get this on my wall. This one's definitely going on my wall. As far as the other ones, I'm actually not sure 100% which posters will end up being on the wall. I'm gonna have to probably print out most all of them and see how they look. Second place winner by Jessetta the Wise here, a Dragon Knight Jessie, a version of both Dragon Knight Jessies here. I thought it was really well done, really quality, and a nice style of artwork that I like. Third place, or just third through fifth, I didn't exactly order them here. This amazing Nita poster I thought was really cool by Eurusas. I probably completely said that wrong. Another third to fifth place winner, Icy Tam Tam here, a really cool style poster here facing off with the boss robot. And then the other winner by Jinx the Witch here, going over the entertainment trio. I thought another really quality poster. Now some other ones I thought were really good here. I'm gonna go over pretty quickly. There were a couple posters like this where, you know, there were Sprouts, or sort of like a cereal type here, basically sort of styling off Colt's Crunch, which I did like and I thought was quality here, like loose snow cones, another example here, and also a Coach Cory one, which I really liked, probably because it had me. But it was also quality. There were some other really interesting ones. This one was very close to becoming a winner. I definitely considered it. I thought it was it was a bit simple, but it had beauty and quality in that simplicity. And this one here, a combo by Chrono Pierce and Blazing Night Stars here, was another one that was close to winning, or being a winner. I thought there were a lot of really interesting parts in this one. A lot of really, I mean, the thing that impressed me most with this is the amount of different moving pieces in this. Overall, nice job. Here was another one I thought was really cool. I really liked the letters here, Brawl Stars with Coach Cory, that they did. Overall, I thought it was a nice job, and it was a bit unique. Now this one I thought was really cool on the Retropolis trio here, where at first it looks kind of simple, you know, Bull and BB, both of them look really well done, but then you take a closer look in the background here, you see the crow shadow and the shadow of the Bull and BB. To me, are really cool, actually. And this one was another one that I thought was very good. Just Frolic here, going over no time to explain. And I thought this was an interesting look at it. You know, the first ad that we did, they drew that up, but then also had the Star Park investor watching all of this happen. I thought that was a nice touch. Overall, this was a really quality piece. This was a cute piece that I liked as well. Going over, I guess they're all part of the trio, the Botanist or the Jungle Trio. I'm probably saying the name of the trio wrong, but nice job. And this one, another one by Jinx the Witch here, I thought was actually quite good as well. Overall, I liked just the detail, and I think the emoji was a nice touch. And another one by Macchio Cheese actually here, a poster with me. Maybe that's why I'm a little partial to it, but I actually thought I really liked the letters that they did. I just thought they looked really smooth. And I don't know, the purple was popping. Now this Piper poster by Devon XY1 here was very well done too. This one I was definitely considering a quality piece. All right, well, let me know if you guys want to see more of this series and what topics you would like me to cover. But thanks for watching, and I'll catch you later.